Mr. Speaker, apart from that, inflation. He inherited inflation of 15.4%. Today it's 40.4%. Mr. Speaker, the exchange rate of the cedi, they inherited $1 at 4 Ghana cedis and indicated to all of us that they have the key to arrest the depreciation of the cedi. Today the cedi is falling and suffering from an epileptic fall. They've lost control of the depreciation. $1 is to 15 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, and when you come to unemployment, probably it has increased from 5.53% to 13.9%. Mr. Speaker, so what has he to show? We are told that he did well, and that we are told that we should blame COVID and Ukraine. Did you borrow to support Ukraine? Did you borrow to support Ukraine? Did you borrow to support Ukraine? And you want us to accept that your reckless and irresponsible borrowing, which has led us to where we are. We are in a ditch. Mr. Speaker, the Ghanaian economy is in a ditch. Accept it or not, you may have to restructure debt in order to sustain this economy in the next 2-3 years. I heard the President, Mr. Speaker, speak to the nation and say that there will be no haircut. There will be, and there will be a barber of a sort. That barber will be Scampi Dede Barber. It will happen. And it will happen to investment, it will happen to savings, it will happen to bonds that have been issued. Even independent power producers are likely to suffer a restructuring of the debt because how much you owe is colossal. Mr. Speaker, his incompetence manifestedly even in this house when he came and said that we should approve for him a Sino-Hydro loan of 600 million US dollars to undertake a number of projects. And Mr. Speaker, he misled this house when he said butter, tomatoes in exchange for pepper. Where is your pepper in exchange of the tomatoes you borrowed? Reality have dawned on them, and therefore Sino-Hydro is due for payment. And you must pay. You are not going to be able to pay with the bauxite which is unprocessed, which is still underground, that you don't know the road or the railway leading to the Sino-Hydro, the bauxite site. Mr. Speaker, it is the Honorable Minister of Finance who came here and said that we should do that for him. Initially, he even wanted $2 billion in barter. So barter, my simple economics, is exchange of goods for goods. Where is your goods? In exchange for the 646 million US dollars you got from the Chinese. A mark of the incompetence. Mr. Speaker, the Bank of Ghana, sacred institution, independent institution, they are required. Part of the external credit facility agreement they inherited from the IMF was to allow for some 10% Bank of Ghana financing in times of emergency. But we work towards 0% financing from the Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the figures available to me, I see that probably even for 2022, the Bank of Ghana probably would have spent some 17.5 billion, about 24%, which exceeds the 10% threshold. That's breach of law. And probably for 2021, about 19%. Breach of law. But what is even more important, what kind of reserve did you inherit? And what is the state of our reserve? Are we able tomorrow to guarantee that economic and essential social and economic services can be provided for the Ghanaian? Today, Mr. Speaker, I use just petroleum prices. When they were in opposition, they were good at it. They were carrying jerrycans and saying that when they come, we will reduce the prices of petroleum products. Have you reduced it? Have you reduced it? Have you reduced it? And said it was a nuisance tax. Mr. Speaker, they benefited from President Mohamed's ESLA, which has raked in some 6.9 billion. Yet again, smart economics, and that's what is failing them. They have collateralized John Dramani Mohamed's ESLA for the next 10 years. So from today up to 2035, ESLA will be used to be servicing debt. That's what you've done. Yet you said it was a nuisance tax. It's been helpful. At least it's giving you a collateral and a guarantee. Mr. Speaker, so we are on this side. We do not see plausible plans for redemption. When we hear the President speak that by 2028, debt to GDP will be 55%. We do not know where he will be. We do not know what responsibility will be, the weight of responsibility that will be on him to lead us as a country. Mr. Speaker, we are told the president promised God a national cathedral. No problem with it. Ghana is one of the respected societies in the world when it comes to religious tolerance and religious coexistence. Muslims and Christians alike, we respect each other. But when you promise God, honor it, and honor it by respecting process. If you approve 199 million for the construction of a cathedral without parliamentary approval, is that honor to God? Because you haven't followed proper procedure. God wants you to spend in honor, and the church in honor. You don't want a day for somebody to picket around the cathedral and say that public funds was used and justifiable for it. That itself will not help. Mr. Speaker, we refuse to be lured by the false hopes they are creating. They don't provide any indemnity for investors against political and regulatory risk. We've seen the president rehash some of his own words, that property rate will be introduced. You came here in a budget statement of 2022. You said in January, property rate. So, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Finance should know that when he comes to read the budget statement, we take it seriously. Things that you haven't been able to do in 6 years, you want us to trust and believe you that you do it in 2 years. We simply don't trust you, and we simply don't believe you, and we simply want you out. So that, where are the men, Mr. Speaker? Where are the men? You said you had men. Mr. Speaker, where? Mr. Speaker, where are the men? Particularly when I hear the deputy leader who wants to reduce this August House to a court of law. This is not court. This is the Parliament of Ghana.